I decided to return to the aerial Gundam. Usually I build kits on a short time period, in hopes of getting views for this dying channel. Originally I was going to add LEDs the first time, but the first castings failed, and I didn't feel like fighting with it. Even with this project I ran into issues, but I pressed forward for some odd reason. While working on the casting parts, I decided to 3D print a little extra, this big circular ring that I was going to put light in. Before I knew it, I was building a diorama and an action base. The idea that I had was the side of a colony that was damaged. I had no other clear ideas how I was going to go about it or what I was going to do for this project. So I kind of just did whatever came to mind. I broke out the Dremel and started in on the plastic, adding chipping damage, burning in details. I then grabbed my wave plastic sheets for extra details. They're really easy to work with and measure. I highly recommend them for scratch builds because they come, with little tiny dots and measurements. So it's really easy to keep a good idea of what you're cutting into and where. I also scribed in some details. Now you may say, there's a huge chunk of the video that's missing in the build. Well, yeah. There are some days that just really suck for me while editing other stuff. And I just decided to sit down and take out all my rage on painting and working on Gundam model kits. Feel my fury. By the way, I was using SAB scribing tools. They tend to be my go-to scribing tools next to actually the MadWorks scribing tools. I really like those, and the handle for those are extraordinarily nice. The only problem is, I don't have as many handles as I should for all the scribing tools, so I go right back to SAB. Grab one, scribe, put it away, bang, bang, boom. Time is of the essence. Weathering is not something I do too often, but when I do it, I try to do it right. There's a fine line between believable weathering and being absolutely sloppy, because you can go overboard or you can be really lazy with it and it just looks like a mess. The extra broken colony space parts are the Gundam base limited debris sets. I believe it's around $19 to $20 if you can get it directly from P Bandai or from a friend in Japan. Otherwise, you're paying $60 a set for these things, which I feel is grossly overpriced. Now I was at the final stage, and since there was no plan, I just sort of went about it however. And I popped on some LEDs, some filament LEDs that are flexible in the back, while using hot glue to hold them in place. I should have probably used a crazy glue, but I wanted to, make sure it worked first. And by the time I had finished it, I go, oh, this works. I just decided why bother taking it apart again to try and re-glue it, because some of the hot glue was real hard to cut off. So it's just like, whatever. And here it is, my second go with the aerial Gundam, adding the LEDs it so richly deserved the first time, but casting issues kept me from doing so.